I'm gonna tell you exactly how you should outsource your tasks to VAs to accelerate your growth and increase your revenue. I'll also provide you with a framework on how to approach hiring VAs and give you the correct mentality on how you should think and everything you need to know. Also, make sure to join my personal Telegram channel down below and check out TechFusion.com. Now let's get into the video. So, outsourcing tasks in the OnlyFans industry. I first want to talk about this interaction that I had with this guy on Telegram. And I usually don't respond to these kinds of DMs because I get a dozen a day, but I was feeling kind of generous and I was in the mood to respond, right? So this guy told me that he was looking for a job because he saw my threads guide and he was looking to work for me. He's available like 8 hours a day. Then, he forgot that other people are busy and sent another message 6 hours later. I simply forwarded him to OFM jobs, and then, I don't know, he broke down into tears, yeah? And he said that group is not willing to teach and hire. Then he melted and said thanks. I told him adapt, find someone that's a beginner or an agency that actually trains their VAs. He told me that he tried. I told him don't be a victim and good luck. And the don't be a victim part is because bro was crying, melting, and trying at the same time. 3 things, right? And there are many things that are wrong with the way this person interacted. I do applaud him for reaching out, taking action, right? Trying to get a job. That's all good, but trying isn't merely enough, right? Like he said, I tried. Like I'm really against the mentality of trying. I only believe in doing or not doing. Like you either succeeded or you failed. I don't believe in trying. Like when I'm bulking or cutting, I never say I'm gonna try to cut. I just cut and lose weight, so I really don't believe in trying. But why am I sharing this? So this guy actually said something very, very interesting that caught my eye. He said, and let me quote him, that group is not willing to teach and hire. They just want to be lied to by telling them you are a professional. And I found that very interesting because it perfectly describes 99% of people. They want something special in return for not providing anything. They haven't done any work, and I mean actual work, because people love to say that they tried everything, but in reality they did the bare minimum. They like to take shortcuts and hire people to do the work for them instead of actually doing the work themselves because they think that's gonna save them time, when in reality they will just lose money on the so-called professionals they hire over Telegram. And by the way, I'll go into more details on those so-called professionals. But I want to finish my point for now to start off the video on a good note. So I just want to start the video by helping you and giving you the best advice that you can receive, like right off the bat. And this goes for both people that are hiring and looking for VAs or just looking to outsource their content. And also for the people looking to get hired. And that's by accepting that you deserve absolutely nothing. You only deserve the things that you already have. Like you are only worthy of the things that you already have because you already acquired them. Let me give you an example. If you are broke and work a minimum wage job, you have proven that you can work a minimum wage job, so you are worthy of the minimum wage job. And as much as this is hard to accept for most people, you deserve to be where you are. Now, let's get into the outsourcing part, the framework. So, I'm gonna cut this into 3 main parts, the last one being the most important. So, let's get into the framework. First, master a platform. Stop looking to outsource on social media until you master it yourself. I'm just gonna go over this quickly. Don't be lazy. Before doing any type of outsourcing, first learn and master a platform. Only when you master and learn it, then you should start the scaling and outsourcing process. Way too many people try to skip steps. You can't scale if you don't know what you're doing. You can't get something out of nothing. You expect to pull up with no knowledge or previous success in a marketing method such as Instagram or Reddit, for example, and you think you can just hire a professional to do it for you. Of course not. You have to do the hard work yourself first. Put in the necessary work to grow and progress. You don't know what you don't know. You are currently a beginner if you can't successfully drive any type of traffic to a platform. Learn, trial and error, invest time, and you won't be a beginner. Great. And I mention this often. People are getting scammed left and right. Because they are desperate. And so this ties perfectly into our second point. Understand the amount of work required to grow. Way too many people underestimate how much work is actually required to win. Let me tell you the process of the average VA hiring. So the person struggles with a platform, they hire a so-called professional, and then they just get bad results, or even worse, they just get scammed. That's the average VA hiring experience. Don't be lazy. First, master the platform, then hire VAs and train them so you can multiply the work, so they can multiply the work for you. Stop underestimating work. It took us 6 months of hard work to master TikTok and then another 6 months of hard work to master Instagram. It's a lot of work, but it's worth it. I didn't look for any shortcuts, and neither should you. And third, replicate your success with competent and well-trained people. Because the most important question to ask yourself is, would you hire an incompetent person for your business? So let's say you have a marketing agency and you need top talent to fill the main marketing position, right? Would you find that person over a quick text message? Ask him if he's down to work, ask him when he can start, and then hire him in less than 10 minutes of conversation and expect good results? Of course not. You would go through a detailed vetting process, you would go through onboarding, you would filter hundreds of people until you find the most competent. You would go through training and see if he has what it takes, if he has what is necessary, and only then you would hire him. And the main problem people have is that they don't understand that at the end of the day, you're leading a real company and you're responsible for the people that you hire. Most people don't know what they're doing and they just want other people to carry their business for them and do miracles for them, when it's actually them that should be doing the heavy lifting and leading, not the VAs. The reality is you have terrible SOPs, you don't go through any kind of process, and you don't set any kind of expectations. And this goes for your models too, by the way. That's how people also lose models. You don't set any expectations, you don't communicate good, you don't have SOPs, you don't look professional, you just kind of do things, right? And then you're angry when someone on your team doesn't perform. If you love your business, you will lead it. You will hire competent people, you will put a lot of effort in your hiring process, in your SOPs, you will work hard to keep your employees and make them grow as people and reward them. Not find a random guy on Telegram, wire him $200 through crypto, and then act surprised when he scams you. Alright, let's get into the questions. So I'm just gonna answer some questions really quickly that I received on Telegram from people that were interested in this video. So first, how should they minimize the risk of their accounts getting banned or hijacked? Let's cover the banning part. First, it's gonna sound simple and stupid, and it is. The answer is to find and train better people. If anything bad happens, it is 100% your fault. It's always one of four things. You either weren't clear enough in your communication and instructions, you either hired an incompetent person, you didn't have proper SOPs, or you yourself had no clue what you were doing. So you just made a mess. It's always one of those four things. And for the hijacking part, even if you do everything good, there might be a rogue agent from another agency trying to screw you up, but I don't know, that's hard to avoid. The best tip would be to avoid hiring people from Telegram and just use your intuition. Like, a thing that helps is to verify your employees, verify their IDs, and just constantly monitor them. That's the only way. Next question, where and when should you start searching for a VA? You can find them on Upwork or onlinejobs.ph. And for when, the answer is when you've reached a point where it's only a question of automation. Again, as mentioned previously, people try to skip steps. They try to hire VAs while they have no clue what they're doing. First, learn and master a platform, and only when your tasks are just repetitive and you're doing something that already works and now it just takes time, that's when you should outsource it. Because of course you want to invest your time into other important areas. And are there any third-party apps that allow your VAs to manage your social media accounts but also limit them on what they can do? I personally don't see how that would work because I always prefer doing everything from the phone, so not uploading on a computer, for example. And third-party apps are usually desktop-based, And there might be solutions that I'm not aware of, but I always think it's best to have your employees just use real phones and act like real and genuine users. Lastly, I want to talk about focus because many of you lack focus, and this is a very important part of the video. So this is more so directly tied in the way you approach business in general. So any problems you encounter, how do you deal with them, and pretty much everything you do. So listen carefully, as I believe this is genuinely the most important part of the video where I'll teach you a lesson. So what is focus? Focus is measured by the amount of things you say no to. You can also measure it by how few things you say yes to. And so the most focused person, which is also the most successful person usually, only says yes to one thing and no to everything else. The answers you are looking for are not in Telegram groups and they are not in YouTube videos. I believe there are so many things in business that you don't understand until you're at the other side. Because let me give you a quick story and example that you can all relate to. Chances are that all of you reached out to at least one person in the OFM industry. It can be Telegram, it can be through Telegram, Instagram, whatever. And 90% of the time, most questions never receive an answer. People don't understand that someone can be busy and making money. And I know I'm ranting a bit here, but like, the amount of questions I get each day, like, hey G, do you have a minute? Hey, can I ask you a couple of questions and stuff like that? And if they do ask me a question, it is usually the most basic thing in the world, like, where do you buy SIM cards? Like, I'm just not going to respond to that. It's either those types of questions or they're just really stupid questions. And so I don't answer 90% of the DMs that I receive unless they are very straight to the point and if I think they're worth my time. And most of the time they're not. And by the way, I just want to mention the worst kinds of people, which are the ones that ask a question, they don't get an answer, and 2 hours later, they send like 14 question marks, like they expected me to answer, and they're shocked I didn't. Those are the worst. But now, let's extract the lesson from all of this. In the same way that most people can't comprehend that they're not special, and that people are busy making money and have 40 other people trying to get their time, your brain also in the same way can't even comprehend high-quality problem solving and hard work because you haven't experienced it. You keep looking for shortcuts. You keep looking for the best solution to work as little as possible and earn as much money while you haven't done any work to deserve that. Remember, there is no such thing as something from nothing. First, do the hard work, understand what it takes, and only then should you invest the time and energy into teaching your employees how to replicate your success. That's the only way to win, not hiring scammers you found on Telegram. That is all.